So let us talk about the way forward, how to go about learning investment and trading in a structured manner. Alright. Now this is an add-on lesson. It was not there when I initially made the course. But then why have I added it? It was because several of my students asked me that we have done this course. Is it enough? Do we need to learn anything more? And if yes, then this is a good platform for structured learning. But how do we go about learning here? My answer is very simple. First of all, learning is a never-ending process. We learn as we grow and we grow as we learn. But having said that, there is something more. In context of investment and trading, investment is actually a necessity. You cannot, or rather you should not avoid learning investment. See, very early in life, we all learn how to walk. And once we learn that, we keep walking. Investment is something like that. If you avoid investment, then you may face financial hurdles in your life. Even if you have inherited a lot of wealth, that wealth may keep depleting if you don't invest it wisely. But when it comes to trading, trading is not a necessity. It is just a profession of choice. Some people may want to be an engineer, some may want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a chartered accountant, whatever. Similarly, some people may want to be a trader. Even if you want to do it part-time, you may want to be a part-time trader by profession. And if it is a profession, then you need to learn several subjects. For example, if you want to be a mechanical engineer, then you may have to learn subjects like thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, strength of material, and so many other subjects. Now, all these subjects are taught to you in different manner, in different classes, and also for different durations. And it may go on for 4 years, it may be spread across 4 years before you actually become a graduate. So similarly, if you want to be a trader by profession, then you may have to learn the basic finance, you may have to learn the concept and the functioning of the stock market as well as the mutual fund industry. You may have to learn the derivatives like futures and options, the various trading strategies using a combination of futures and options, and then maybe fundamental analysis and technical analysis. And above all, you have to learn the psychological aspects of investment and trading, the psychological aspects of money, and the psychological aspects of people who handle money. Now, learning all this may not take you 4 years, certainly not. But certainly, all this cannot be learnt in a single course of a couple of hours. You will have to go in detail. Now, the question is, how do you go about learning all this in a structured manner? See, first of all, investment and trading is primarily about finance. So a basic knowledge of finance is absolutely essential. You cannot avoid that. If you think that you can learn investment and trading without the basic knowledge of finance, then that would be a serious mistake. So if you are not from the commerce or finance background, then it would be worthwhile to take up a simple course on basic finance from any good instructor, not necessarily from me or from any platform, any book. But if you are looking for my course, then this is the one which we have on this platform. It is called Finance, Investment and Business. It is about the fundamentals and concept. Here we talk about how the money grows and some basic concepts about the business and about entrepreneurship. Alright. But if you already have a sound knowledge of basic finance, then you can directly hop on to the stock market. You need to learn about stock market. Again, not necessarily my course. You could take a course from any good instructor. But if you are looking for my course, then this is the one which we have on this platform. It is 8.5 hour long course. Here we talk about the stock market as a play field, and then we try to understand the various players in the market and how they play the game. And we also learn about the rules and parameters of the game. And then in the add-on section, I try to answer the questions from the students. Now, whether you want to be a trader or an investor, in both the cases, you need to learn about the stock market, because that is very essential if you are wanting to invest your money in stocks or in the market. Now, once you understand the nuances of the stock market, then you need to understand the fundamental analysis, or how to analyze the financial statements and evaluate the financial health of any business. Again, several courses are available, but if you are looking for my course, then this is one of them: fundamental analysis about the financial statements. Here we talk about the balance sheet, the profit and loss statement, the cash flow statement, the ratio analysis, and again some questions and answers. Alright, it is spread across 9 hours. Now, if you don't want to invest directly in the stock market, you don't want to spend time learning about the stock market, in that case, you can take an indirect route by investing through the mutual funds. But again, you would need to learn about the mutual funds. You can take on any good course. If you are looking for my course, then this is one of them: Comprehensive Understanding of Mutual Funds. It is spread across 6 hours, and here we talk about all the concepts, the various terminologies, the differences, and again some add-on lessons for answering questions and answers. Now, in addition to investing, if you also want to be a trader, maybe a full-time trader or a part-time trader, then in addition you will have to learn about the derivatives like the futures and options. A very serious subject. I would recommend that you learn these things in a structured manner from any good instructor or any good books, not in bits and pieces. Alright, you need to learn in a sequence, in a proper flow. So these are the two courses on futures and options. Futures is 7.5 hours long, options is about 11 hours long. And then you have technical analysis 1, which is about the candlestick patterns. And then you have technical analysis 2, which is about the conceptual indicators. And once you understand all this, then you need to understand some practical trading strategies, how to make the strategies using a combination of futures and options. So this is a 3.5 hour long course, this is 10 hours, this is 7 hours. And once you have done all these, then you need to understand the psychology of money and the psychology of people who handle money. Alright, the behavioral finance. A short course of 2.5 hours, but it will open up your mind as to how to look at money. Alright, once you have done all these, about 10 courses, consolidated about 71.5 hours of structured learning. Once you have done this, you will get a clear picture of how things work in investment and trading. Once you get this knowledge, then you may do notional trading and notional investment with some paper money for about a couple of months. And once you become confident, then you can board the train with a bag full of money. All right.